Welcome to the Crystal Coach Show with me, your host, Anahata, helping you live every day with clarity, guidance, and practical wisdom. Are you feeling overwhelmed, anxious, maybe disconnected? Do you ever feel like you don't know how to live a life of peace and joy? I am Anahata Roach, the Crystal Coach, and during this show, we channel divine wisdom through stories of service, spirituality, and stones for self-care. The Crystal Coach Show leaves you with a feeling of connection and the clarity it takes towards becoming the best version of yourself as you hear from thought leaders and many others to help you ignite the crystalline nature of who you really are. Stay tuned. The Crystal Coach Show starts now. Hello and welcome to the Crystal Coach Show. I'm your host, Anahata, and I have a question for you. If you could quell anxiety and stress, say goodbye to insomnia, or stop an unhealthy habit with just one word, would you do it? Well, according to today's guest experts, Dr. Nicole and Professor Mike Sebastian, you can. They have a long list of client results that show it really works. The Sebastians, known as the Dream Team, are the authors of 4 books and are widely acclaimed for their work and teachings in the field of vibrational healing, dream interpretation, and divine guidance. They are the founders of the Divine Guidance Institute, a modern-day mystery school whose purpose is to assist others in finding their own inner knowing and healing. Today, we'll discuss how frequencies and vibrations can shift the body and reset the nervous system. We'll also explore how our inner knowing speaks to us through dreams, with the Dream Team offering a few interpretations for some lucky callers during the show. Before we get started, I want to come over here and read just a little bit about the Dream Team. They have been featured on A&E, A&E Entertainment, VH1, Sirius XM, Coast to Coast AM, and countless other shows. They are all about bridging science and spirituality. And I have to put my glasses on so I can see the rest of this. They are, as I say, Dr. Nicole Sebastian is a doctor in psychology. She is a clinical psychologist. And her titles, their certifications are so numerous, it would take probably a long laundry list of things to just go over. I just want to tell you a little bit more about. They include clinical director, certified clinical supervisor, certified addictions counselor, a certified fitness trainer, certified fitness nutrition specialist, smoking cessation counselor, ordained minister. That's just a few of all of the wonderful accreditations this beautiful person has. And her husband, Reverend Michael Sebastian, aka Mike, is a behavioral sociologist. He's an ordained minister, an entrepreneur, a university professor, and a Vietnam veteran. He's taught at universities throughout the country and written extensively on the subject of spiritual sociology. So I'm going to let them kind of tell you their story, but they reached out to me, and I have never heard of Hugh before. I mean, I'd heard of Hugh, but I didn't really understand what it was. And so I have been practicing this ever since I met them. And it's just been really wonderful. It's really affected my ability to sleep better. I didn't do it last night, and I didn't sleep as well. And I've had some dreams where I haven't had any dreams, and it's just been grounding. And I love to do it when I'm in the car because the traffic and the energy right now is so incredibly chaotic that by hewing while I'm driving, I feel like I've got this bubble of light around me and all of these crazy things. I'm just watching the crazy people, do like the Jersey sweeps off of one lane out to the exit, out to the outer lane to the exit lane. It's crazy. But even today, the energy has been chaotic, and we apologize for having been delayed in coming on live, but we're here now, and I'd like to really welcome with a great big heart and a hue, Dr. Nicole and Michael Sebastian to my show today. Thank you for being here.
Oh, hello, Anahata.
Hello.
Hey, thanks for having us, Anahata. It's
Oh,
fun to be here.
yeah.
Looking forward.
Great, great, great. Can you please explain for my show listeners the hue itself and how you came to find it?
Oh, absolutely. I'll get right into there. Okay, one magic word. We call it one-step therapy, and one magic word, just say hue. It's really vibrational sound therapy. And in our research of the word, we found it in 14 different religions and their sacred book. We found it, the remnants all the way back to Egypt 5,000 years ago. They used to hew at the Sphinx from dusk until dawn as a society to elevate the consciousness of the people. And the most practical reference is in the Oxford English Dictionary. The word human actually means God-man, God within man, human. Yeah. So
And
That is
it goes back way back. And it's actually, as far as the history goes, it's the original word that created the universe, which is really pretty powerful when you think about it. When you have the sound, the word, because I went to when I grew up, I went to Catholic high school, and it was taught by the Jesuits, and they all had their PhDs and more. And I used to ask them, I'd say, Father, what is that word? I read in John 1:1, it says, in the beginning was the Word was
yes,
with God, the Word was God.
right.
And they all said, Mike, I don't know. And I used to tease them about it all the time for 4 years. Come on.
Yes.
I mean, you got all these degrees, you don't even know what the word was. And that really put me on a hunt, a search, a
I love
personal search for the word, for the truth. And eventually I found it. And when I, I didn't believe it. When I found it, I thought, just another word. And then I tried it.
that. Yeah,
And it literally changed my life.
I
And we can
believe
go
it.
into that later.
Yeah,
But it has that original history that goes all the way back.
right. Some people, I think, they would think maybe it would be Om would be like the word, but you think
mhm.
about the vibration of Om, it's a lower vibration than hue.
It, yeah,
Hue has
we've
this. Go. What do you want to say?
we've done research on the hue versus ohm. There's a section in one of our books, hue versus ohm. Yes, I'm so glad you mentioned that, Anhata. And it is a lower vibration. The ohm only takes you to the mental plane, whereas the hue takes you all the way up to the 10th plane. So it takes you further, faster, quicker. Um, it gets you above the planes of duality, whereas the ohm is still in the planes of duality.
Yeah.
So yeah, and you picked up on it just by the notation, the vibration of the word.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I'm a musician also, so that vibrational and frequency kind of stuff
Mhm.
resonates with me a lot. And also noticed as I tried the difference between the Om and the hue, it felt different in my body when I tone it. The hue is I feel it in my heart and in my third eye, and when I do it for an extended period of time, it goes out my crown. And the Om is mostly it just I feel it throughout my whole entire body, but I don't
Yes.
feel it expanding. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. You nailed it, Anahata. And that's exactly it. And the hue as opposed to the Om takes you to a higher dimension. Science calls them dimensions,
Mm,
and it takes you there instantly. And when literally it's a matter of how do you feel, and you can, as you just pointed out, you can feel the difference. I used to study with the Sikhs. I studied with the Buddhists, with the Sikhs, with the Jesuits. I studied with everybody on the planet at one time or another. So trust me, I tried all those words. We used to Om for several hours with the Sikhs and do yoga. And then when I found the U, I was skeptical, like it can't be any better than the Om. And I tried it, and it was like, oh my God, what a difference! I could feel it
yeah.
instantly, and it took me to a higher, more expanded, as you pointed out, more aware type of consciousness.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm. So can you talk a little bit about some of the, uh, highlight kind of case histories that you've seen with people having success with you?
Yes. Oh, yes. Love to. Let's start right in there with well, want to start with you. Let's do your PTSD with Vietnam. Then we'll go on to our fabulous clients.
Did you say start with Hugh or start with you? Or it's the same, right?
Start with the vibration of you.
So, yeah, I was in Vietnam in the infantry did a tour there in the jungles and triple canopy jungle infantry, automatic weapons, and came back with a lot of PTSD. That's probably an understatement. And they didn't really have a good handle at the time. The VA didn't really know what PTSD was,
Right. Yeah.
post-traumatic stress. They
Syndrome.
they thought they did, but they didn't really. And I had nightmares, night terrors, suicidal ideation pretty much every day, depression, anxiety, fear. Uh, I was always looking over my shoulder, a loud bang in the street, and I was, pulling a gun ready to shoot somebody. However, I was on my way to the VA, and before I ever got there and talked to them about PTSD, I happened to stumble across a two-letter word, HU, Hugh. And I read, and it said it addresses these different symptoms of anxiety, depression, suicidal ideation, night terrors. And I thought, come on now. So I gave it a shot. I
Yeah.
started trying it, put the VA on hold, never went to see the docs for any meds. And right away, I noticed the difference in my feeling. The
Mm-hmm.
night terrors went away first or second night. No more nightmares. And then the feelings of anxiety, depression, thoughts, those constant negative thoughts of suicidal ideation, basically started feeling like they had been erased. And in a
Wow.
matter of a very short period of time, without any meds, without any docs, without any therapy, my PTSD symptoms were alleviated. They essentially got erased. They went away. And that's when I knew, because it's a knowingness through
Mm-hmm.
experience, that's when I knew we had the magic word.
Right.
And here we are.
And here we are,
Yay! No
Yeah.
PTSD. Amen.
Well, but I mean, PTSD and insomnia and, anxiety and stress and fear and a lot of things, like, as I was saying at the onset, there's so much chaos energy in the world right now. And it's visceral. You can just, it's like, it's so hard to not succumb to it, and it's visceral like fear. But my big aha, because I work with minerals in the crystals and stones, that every mineral on the planet has a signature vibrational frequency on an atomic level. And with a few exceptions, each of those minerals are inside the body. So in my practice, the crystal resonance therapy, it works on a quantum frequency, right? And it finds a resonant match with those minerals to clear out all of those energies, those denser energies in the body. I mean, all of them, not even more than the physical, like to your point, Mike, all of the planes of existence, right? The energy bodies, right? The energetic, the mental, the emotional, spiritual, and the physical, right? But with your one-step therapy and the Q, this was it doesn't need a vibrational resonance to match. It is the overriding vibrational frequency, is it not?
Yes. And you nailed it. And the truth is that, and this is something that it took me a while to notice. The reason for that, Anahata, is because the hue is contained within everything. And
Mhm.
if anyone doubts that, just listen to the hum of a car. Listen to the sound of rain, the chirp of a bird. You can hear the hue in the background.
Right.
And the hue is part of all the sounds that literally exist on this plane here. So there you go.
Yeah, yeah, it's so super cool. And so it's like, duh, why haven't we, been using this for why has it been such a secret, that only the mystics knew about until now, when you guys are bringing it forward, and you have been since the first book was published in '09, right? Just Say Hugh.
Yes,
So,
yes.
yeah. So anyway, I wanted to I want to continue with this conversation, but I digressed. I said I wanted you all to talk about how you met, and all of the kind of the synchronicities that helped, because in our next segment, after we take a break, we're going to go to talking about your trust yourself system. So that's in alignment with the Divine Guidance Institute. So why don't you tell our listeners about how you met?
You bet. Wow. What a cool story. Crazy cool story.
Yeah.
Michael was my sociology instructor when I was, let's see, we've been married now 30 years. And when I was 24, he was my instructor. And we were waiting for the teacher to walk in. And he walked in. And the minute I laid my eyes on Michael, I knew the inner voice was screaming, he's the one, the soulmate. You're going to marry this guy. Now, at this time, he's twice my age, and we haven't even spoken, but he had on his cute little hiking boots and his Levi's and his flannel shirt, kind of like right now. And he just looked so cute. And he was like throwing the ball up in the air. And the voice was loud. I even ran home and I told my roommate, Heather, I'm going to marry this guy in a heartbeat. She thought I was crazy.
Mhm.
And then I knew to be quiet. Nicole, no more talk. I said, okay, okay, okay. And then the next semester rolled. I ran into him in the hallway and I asked Michael out. I said, hey, can we do lunch? We did lunch, then dinner. And what happened when you walked me back to my car?
Well, it was like our second date only. And I was walking her back to her car, and there was her license plate. And KRW and then some numbers was on the license plate. I hadn't seen that anywhere at the time. It was in Austin, Texas, and it jumped out at me. It was like I really almost stumbled. It was like, oh my God, those are the initials of my ex-wife. And then I thought, is this a good sign or a bad sign?
Bad sign.
And the inner voice said, it's going to change your life. You guys are going to hook up. You're going to go a different direction with a different mission in life. Everything's going to change. And in that moment, I knew that Nicole and I were meant for each other, that we were soulmates. And it was that really, it was a synchronicity or a sign or whatever you want to call it.
But we didn't tell each other.
Nope.
I kept my things to myself, and so did he. And then we carried on. In 90 days, we got engaged. In 9 months, we were married. Now we started talking about the signs and the intuitions. We're going to fast forward 2 years, and I became a fitness trainer. And then Michael had a stunning deja vu moment.
I started having deja vus like fitness trainer. I've been here before. I've known this before. How do I know this now? Why does it feel so familiar? I feel like I lived it before through those deja vus. And at that point, I went back and started looking through my dream journals. And I always kept the dream journals for a long time, luckily. And one of the dream journals had a dream of rewind 3 years, 3 full years when I was teaching before I ever met Nicole, I had a dream that we were in chemistry class together, i.e. there's going to be chemistry between us.
Of
And
course, you
that
were in
her
chemistry
name was,
class together.
yeah, pure chemistry. And her name was Nicole in the dream. She looked like that. And in the dream, she even wore a purple dress. I had journaled it. The purple dress is something she actually wore to class one day. So it just like suddenly shattered my consciousness in terms of, oh my God, here was a snapshot 3 years prior to meeting your wife. You had a dream that that's where you were going to go. That's how it was going to happen. Here's the new direction in your life came in through that dream.
Wow. But you didn't recognize her when you first saw her in the
Nope,
sociology class.
nope, no.
And she didn't even catch your eye.
Actually, she did,
Okay.
but
Because you remembered her
I
from the
had
next
to.
semester.
Yes, exactly. Hmm.
It's funny, that purple outfit, I actually remember picking out that outfit. Like I said, I've got to wear this outfit to class. Like it was so synchronistic,
Wow.
when
You were
everything
being
was
told to
revealed.
do that. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Oh,
Yay.
this
I
whole
love
thing was
that.
so
Gives me
programmed.
soul bumps. That's
And so
awesome.
because of these tools, and prior to hooking up, Michael had his adversities with, getting blindsided by the divorce, right, from the first wife. And then when we met, he was dating 4 other girls at the same time, right? Trying to find harmony, and nothing fit. And before then, I was ghosted by my previous boyfriend on New Year's Eve. And this is before internet and everything. And he didn't show up. It was like, okay, I'll see you in 3 hours. And poof, I've still never spoken to him again. But I had a dream then, 3 nights later, after that, of him dissing me, ghosting me, tears, like, what happened? I had my first dream ever, and it showed he got back with his family. He was hand in hand with his 2 daughters, and they were walking away from me. That was the dream. And when I woke up, I knew he got back with them, headed in another direction. And so I realized that the universe or Holy Spirit, depending on one's belief system, is there to give us so much data, so much guidance, so much love and support. Oh my gosh, we've got to share this with the world. And that's how the whole thing transpired.
And was that the genesis for you creating the modern day mystery school, Divine Guidance Institute?
Absolutely.
Basically,
Yeah.
after now that you're together and you've got this purpose and you understand what why you're together and what you're supposed to be doing, that was
Yeah,
kind of like, or did
the
you just one of you
culmination.
take this combination?
It was, yeah, because we've been teaching this and doing workshops and books for years, decades. But, a few years ago, the inner said it's time for Divine Guidance Institute. So then that was like the topping on the cake. That was the platform. That was the umbrella, however you want to word it. That was like, okay, here we are. And this is what, in its fullness, this is what it is.
So how do you assist people in these chaotic times?
Well, we do what you're doing. We talk to people like you and get on the air as much as we can and share the simple tools that are free and part of us. Everyone dreams every night. Everyone's had a sign, and everyone's had a gut feeling at least once. So you couple those tools with the hue, and voila, things just transpire.
But with all the misinformation and the AI generated deep fake news, I mean, how do you teach people to know whether what they're reading, seeing, hearing is authentic or a fake or sham?
Well, we start with the tools, right? But we tell people, start tracking your data. That is the most important thing. You don't make life and death choices. You track your data that you receive against the world, and you see how things turn out. Then when you realize through tracking your data that your dream was accurate, your dream was prophetic, your gut feeling was on the money, then your confidence raises. And then the more you witness this data tracking accuracy, you step into fullness of knowingness. And your it's like Jedi Knight training 101. You literally transform from the inside out in that way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really curious about hearing your story about how you recognized him, and then, he had been doing dream journals and all this sort of stuff. I'm just really curious about in your trust yourself system, you do provide
Mhm,
ways to help others learn to navigate reality from an inner compass,
mhm.
right? But were you
Oh,
inspired by your own experience?
yeah.
Or prior to meeting, were you guys working on these kinds of things prior to you getting together?
Well, my dream of getting ghosted with Franklin, the boyfriend at the time, yeah, that was my triggering event. Okay, and then there's a whole nother story we didn't even get into. I was on the mountain with what I thought was God at the time. Now I know um it was a high being in the hierarchy, and this is pre-Michael, you know, right at
You
the
had a
the, the
meeting with
onset.
Metatron?
So all this data was transmitted. I was on the mountain, and the truth of everything was transmitted to me. Okay,
What?
and I grew up Catholic, so my entire belief system, when I woke up, my entire belief system was ripped, was pulled out from underneath me. And the truth about heaven, hell, reincarnation, past lives, everything was downloaded. And it was so antithetical to my upbringing. I was really, really off balance. It
Mm,
took an entire year to regain stability. And the only thing that kept me going, and this is the real crux of it, Anahata, I had to ask for a sign every waking hour for an entire year to regain my balance and to come into
wow.
full knowingness. And within 5 minutes of asking, I would be given a sign. A rainbow would appear. I'd overhear a conversation. Something would occur to alleviate my concerns, to let me know, Nicole, that experience was valid. It was
Mhm.
authentic. The data you received was the truth. But I knew to talk to no one. The law of silence is so important in all of this because people, whether they intend to undermine or even unintentional, just with their own vibrations and their own fears or concerns or belief systems, people get undermined all the time of their dreams and their hopes and their goals and things. So being quiet is so important as you track your data. And so
Mm,
really, yeah.
And that's really at the heart of knowingness, and that's what we teach, and that's what we've learned
right.
personally. And I learned that also in a lot of different ways through dream signs, intuition. Had a past a life review dream where they took me, and it was a very clear clarity. And they said, "There's your previous life," and they had it on film. They showed me and stopped it, showed me again. And they said, "You're done with that. Do you understand?" These were spiritual guides, and they were really like pretty tough.
Yeah.
They said, "Do you understand?" And I kind of shook my head and they said, "No, tell us what you understand." And then I said, "Okay, I'm done with it. I get it." The whole, that path I was on, studying with, Christianity and the Jesuits and the Buddhists, and all that was done. And I was to step into a new type of path that had to do with inner knowingness. And therein lies the difference.
Yeah.
Everything
Okay.
that we teach has to do with trust yourself, take it within you, the law of silence, be quiet for a minute, breathe, and you will get a feeling, you will get a direction, you will get a sign, you will get an intuition. And that's knowingness. Everything out here, looking around, going to a book, asking the experts, asking the doctors, they really don't know, or it may be that it's not going to work for me. I need to get it very personal and take it within me. And then I know, and then I can go forward, and that's the correct path.
Yeah, the trusting aspect is the hardest, I think the hardest challenge anyone has
Mhm.
been for me to learn to trust. And because ego wants to doubt, ego wants to boss around, ego wants to, but if you're trusting in your divine guidance, then you're acting on that. And I mean, I've kind of done the similar things, Nicole, in terms of testing out, okay, and so I'm getting this, show me a sign, kind of a thing, because that it took me a long time to really trust me, trust myself. And so that rings so true for me as well. And I'm sure for all the listeners that are tuning in right now or will be tuning in later. We're going to take a quick break because what you've done is tee up our last segment, which is the dream segment, all about dreams interpretations and studies. And as always, I have a few little crystal recommendations for you that support connecting with your higher self and your dreams and expanding your intuition. So we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. Hello, welcome back to the Crystal Coach Show. I'm your host, Anahata, and we're talking today with the Dream Team, Dr. Nicole and Professor Mike Sebastian, about the frequencies of hue, about trusting yourself and your inner knowing, and now we're talking about dreams. Studies have actually confirmed that we all dream every night, even if we don't remember, like me. But why should we bother writing down our dreams or decoding them? What's the advantage of keeping a dream journal, guys?
Michael?
They are the window to the other side. In other words, if you ask most people, would you like to have a guide who shows you what's coming in life, like what's around the corner, so you don't get blindsided? Everyone would say, oh my God, yes. You talking about a snapshot of the future? Are you talking about finding the truth of what I've been looking for, pointing me in the right direction? Maybe it's on relationships. I'm trying to find the one, or finances, or career. Do I need to move to New York, or whatever? Dreams provide those messages and those directions. And it's an open window, literally, to a higher, finer vibration that gives us a snapshot of the future. So why not?
So why not? Okay. All right, cool. That's a pretty thorough answer. But what is your two-step method to decode any dream? And why do some dreams recur?
Okay, the two-step method. Yes, we've distilled it down. All of our methods, we've got the shortcut, just like the hue. What could be quicker than the hue? So shortcut, here we go. Two-step, decoding any dream. There's two key elements. The first question you ask yourself is, what was on my mind yesterday? What am I concerned with? What's the overall concern? What was I wondering about within 24 hours? Then the second piece is quick word association with any of your symbols. I'll give you an example. Let's say two people dream of water. If you look in a dream dictionary, which we do not advise, oh, no, we're unique. That dictionary is not going to assist in very proficient ways. So anyway, back to the water. Someone dreams of water and they love scuba diving. Woo, it's their favorite. Another person dreams of water and they almost drowned a year ago. Water means two very different things for these people. One means fear, essentially, and one means a great joy or love. So that quick word association is essential in decoding your symbols. So when you are able to tie the two pieces together, what was I wondering about? And the quick word association with any of your symbols, it'll bring you into, the realm of an answer of what was the dream about, what was the message, the specific message, and again, you track your data. So it's like learning a new language essentially, and it takes a minute to get proficient. You don't bet the farm on a dream like they used to say, but you really can. But hey, track your data.
Track your data. Okay. Thank you. That's very helpful, actually. Because I was thinking in the books, the dream books, like for example, dreaming about a house, it says that that's you. The house is a representation of you, your physical self. But yet, it to your point, a house that had burned down or had been torn away by a tornado or something could be completely different connotation to the whoever is dreaming, right?
Mhm.
So it's really,
Yes, or if
so there's
someone's
no like cut and dried kind of interpretation. It's really very personal, isn't it?
yes, it sure is. And that same person could even be thinking of buying a new home, right? And
Yeah,
so the dream's letting them know, like, pass on this or this is a green light type of thing. So yeah, you need, and that's why in working with our clients for decades, we have the intimate side, so we know what's going on. So when we use dreams and these tools with our clients, that's why it's lightning fast. It's
yeah,
so quick. You could spend therapy for a year or longer with people, and one dream will give you everything in a snapshot. There's one quote from a client. She said, "I've been in therapy 10 years and I spent 45 minutes with you and had a breakthrough." That's how quick the tools are. Yeah, it's not us. We're just using the tools of Holy
sure.
Spirit or the universe,
Mhm.
but that's lightning fast stuff.
It
Lightning
is.
fast. So
It
it's
is.
free. Like when you go on a vacation, you take your dreams with you. Like it's this constant autopilot thing. And that's the coolest element of divine guidance. It's 24/7 autopilot. Dreams while you're sleeping, intuition and signs while you're awake,
Hmm.
and have fun.
Yeah. Well, for the next couple of minutes, we're going to have the phone lines open for anyone that would like to call in and have, if they have a dream, to let you guys take a crack at it. That number to call is 1-800-930-2819. Again, that's 1-800-930-2819. Now, while we're waiting, why don't you guys tell our listeners how they can find you and maybe if they want to work with you?
Oh, certainly, certainly. Well, there's a few different places. They could go to onesteptherapy.com.
Mhm.
And number one, or onesteptherapy.com. And there's yes, there's a giveaway, a free dream decoder, mini dream decoder course. Yes. So if you go on the website, you'll see it there,
It's
and you
on
can just enter your email.
onesteptherapy.com. That's where the
Yep,
decoder,
one step. Yeah.
the little sign
Mhm.
up for the decoder, the Dream Decoder mini
Yeah.
course. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
already did.
Yeah. Yeah. Yay. 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 Yay.
So
Yeah.
and just looking up the Dream Team on, just Googling the Dream Team or Googling, your names will probably, as I did, would bring up a plethora of things that they can watch, other
Yeah.
interviews and stuff to get a sense of who you are. But I just wanted you to tell them how to reach you if they want to, book you for an event or to speak or for an actual session.
You bet.
And
Yeah.
that's
Thank
that's
you.
to go
Thanks,
through
Anahata.
onesteptherapy.com, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
so we don't have a whole lot of time left. But I wanted to while we're waiting, if we have anybody, this is Dan Bright. Dan Bright is really good to support messages from spirit. So opening yourself up to receive messages from spirit. So if you're working on inner knowing, Dan Bright's a really good one. Um, Selenite. Selenite is the connection to your higher self. Um, Herkimer. Herkimer diamonds. They're just little bitty things, but they are so packed and powerful because Herkies help you with dreams and visions and spiritualization of your physical life. So if that's where you're going, a Herkimer diamond is really good. And amethyst, I'm wearing my amethyst today. And amethyst is also very good for supporting your work with connecting to your divine self, the aspect of you that is within the divine. And of course, doing hue for me has really kind of opened that up. I mean, I had a lot of other ways, but this is like, this doesn't take any time. You just connect, right? You don't have to do meditation for 15, 20 minutes. You've got an access, right? And for insight and discernment, we have azurite. Um, it's this beautiful blue, and it also sometimes comes with attached, like blended with malachite. So azurite and malachite's really good, but azurite is the discernment stone. It's for insight. And last but not least, I have spirit quartz. And spirit quartz is really supportive of your spiritual evolution. It's merging with the higher self. It's freedom from fear. That was really, I think I've got so many stones and I use them in my practice. And every once in a while, they'll talk to me about, hey, you haven't picked me up and used me in a while. So this one came to me and said, yeah, I need to use it. Okay, all right, I got it. Well, I'm sorry we didn't have enough time to do any dream interpretations today, but I do appreciate you all coming on the show, and thank you so much for reaching out, and I'm so happy to have met you. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Hey,
back at
thank
you.
you.
Absolutely.
That was fun. Thanks, Ed.
Yes. Thanks so much for having us.
Sure. Well, that's a wrap for this edition of the Crystal Coach Show. Join us next month, and we'll see you next time on the Crystal Coach Show. Bye for now.
You have been listening to The Crystal Coach Show, helping you live every day with clarity, guidance, and practical wisdom. With me, your host, Anahata. Tune in every first and third Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific Time on TransformationTalkRadio.com, where we channel divine wisdom through stories of service, spirituality, and stones for self-care. Feel connected and reside in the vibration of love on The Crystal Coach Show. For more information and to become the best version of yourself, visit thecrystalcoach.com. That's thecrystalcoach.com. See you next time.